Welcome to the Kinda Crunchy podcast, where we talk about all things health and wellness. We can't wait for you to hear today's episode, so let's get to it.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Kinda Crunchy. We're just so excited to be here today. I'm Jensen, and obviously this is Rachel. I feel like
I'm Rachel, if you're new here.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, we never really introduce ourselves anymore, but we're like almost 20 episodes in. I feel like, what if some people just like hop on and like, who are these girls?
This is my voice. It's Rachel, and I am the loud one that interrupts a lot, in case you're wondering.
Okay, something really funny I just need to say. On one of our Q&As, somebody left like just in like the question and answer said like, I love the podcast, but it's sometimes hard to hear Jensen and I can hear Rachel more. And honestly, like that was actually really like
helpful,
good feedback. Like, cause we're like, oh, then I'll like be closer to the mic. So,
but it's also true. Like I am the loudest person. I said there's no more perfect job for me than podcasting. I don't even need the mic. You could hear me in your house from Mannheim where we're filming. My husband, literally as nicely as he can sometimes, has to tell me, please speak quieter. Your decibels are hurting my eardrums. So you will always hear me loud and clear. And I actually told Jensen I'm working on not interrupting her as bad, because I listen back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so rude. I just get too excited about podcast days though. That's the problem.
We honestly, we're always just like on another level when we're recording, and we're always just like drinking coffee, just so excited. We're actually drinking vanilla lattes today.
Yeah, we're actually spiking our cortisol, and I'm on like a coffee high because I normally don't drink coffee. So do as we say, not as we do.
We did eat some food first.
We did actually.
We did eat food first. But let's just like talk about last night. So we've just been having so much fun. So
a great weekend.
Rachel and Logan got in last night, and we recorded one episode, and then we ended up having a little like dinner date night with the guys.
Yeah.
And it was fun. We got to the restaurant and they had like soda flights. Like they do homemade sodas at this restaurant, which is new. And I was like to Rachel, I was like, do you want to share one? I don't drink alcohol, so
she never gets to do a flight of anything.
Logan always has his cute little beer or wine flights, and I'm like, those look fun, because I like to sample different things. Like I don't just want one big thing. I'd rather have like a bunch of little things. So we shared a soda flight, and it was so good. It was so much fun. And then we were at the restaurant for a very long time.
Yeah, we just like talked about life and caught up, and then we somehow got into a deep dive of going through middle school old photos and scrolling all the way back on our Instagram feeds to like our first pictures we posted, which Jensen, my husband Logan, and I all went to middle school, high school together. So like we had common people that Jensen on her phone, she's always been the queen of taking pictures. So she just like takes pictures all the time of everything, which I appreciate so much, because I always forget and I'm like, oh, I wish I had more photos. Well, Jensen's got them of me.
I literally have the photo, like one of the first photos of like Rachel and Logan when they started talking.
It was at her house.
In my house. I always had a digital camera, you know, when you actually had a camera.
Yes.
I took it everywhere. I always took so many photos.
Did.
And if you're wondering, they're literally still all on my Facebook. So if you're Facebook friends with me, you can go back to 8th grade.
Please don't.
Please don't. But they're on there. So I'm like, should I delete these? And I'm like, why? They're fun. Like, what is someone gonna judge me for my 8th grade photos? Like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, I literally told Jensen I untagged myself in some of these photos because, like, with getting jobs and stuff, let me explain that I am so unhinged when someone takes a photo. I don't think I've ever tried to look good in a candid photo or a photo taken of me, and Jensen just really captures the essence of who I was in that middle school period. And it's a sight to behold. And I literally was saying to Logan at dinner last night, I was like, how did we start dating? Because every photo I'm seeing of myself, I'm like, what was I doing? Why do I look like that? And like, I was so weird. I was like, I said, I know you really love me, because like, I don't really know what was there to love. And I got you before I was taking cute photos for the gram. We also talked about how Instagram, like if we scroll back on our feeds, I literally have pictures of soapy bubbles on pavement, a ladybug really blurry close up, a bar of soap I liked, a strawberry, just, I guess, the simple joys of life. Yeah. And we need to bring that back. I'm just gonna start posting the most unhinged, like, photo with no context of whatever I feel like, because that's when the days were good.
The captions also were just so cringy. Like, I grew up in the Catholic faith, and it was Lent, and I posted a picture of a milkshake, and it said, like, goodbye sweets, catch you later after Lent, #Catholic girl. And I was like, oh my goodness. And just the most random things, like my nails. I used to do like designs on my nails. I thought that was really cool, and I like posted every picture. But that was my feed, and it got like 10 likes, and I was like, oh my gosh, 10 likes. I'm so cool.
Yeah, so Instagram came out probably like our sophomore year of high school. So and Facebook was like newer, so we were talking about like, we hit it at a really good time where no one really knew what it was yet. So we were all just like doing whatever we wanted there, and it was really just a free for all.
Like on Facebook, you would post like going to hang with Rachel, #besties, or like.
And then someone would comment like, hey, are we still good for Friday night? And you'd be like, yeah, let's do Saturday. You were having a full blown conversation.
Yeah, on your Facebook wall, like feed, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I miss those days when it was so innocent. I said, I feel bad for the kids today who grow up and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to choose what my personal brand is and my aesthetic and like make sure this picture looks like this. Like, you don't know what the good days were on social media. We were just all doing whatever we felt like. And now we have a lot of things to either untag or delete or hide. But I love, Jensen's like, I'm leaving them up. And you know what? She should, because they were wonderful memories.
Yeah.
But
it was fun. Also, I was telling Milo and after, since we live where in the hometown he grew up in, sometimes when we hang out with his friends, they're always going back through their like good old days in high school, and I'm just sitting there like, cool, don't know what you're talking about. And I feel like last night with Rachel,
he got a dose of it.
I was like, this is how and it wasn't that, but I was like, it was nice for me to be able to like catch up on like and reflect on like the good old days that we had. So,
and it's crazy because we're from a small town. Like, we look back on pictures and we're like, oh, there's baby so-and-so. And they're literally like 11 and they have a house together and like are gonna be getting married. And we're like, that's multiple instances.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, look at this person and this person together when they were young. Like, that's crazy because this is what's happening in their life now. It's just, it's different when you live in a small town.
Yeah.
Those of you who are from the Punxsutawney area,
you know,
you get it.
You know,
you get it. Like,
it.
It's different. You know everyone somehow. I was telling Jensen, my coworkers aren't from the Punxsutawney area, but they've like migrated this way. And they're like, you know so much about what's going on in Punxsutawney all the time. We're like different people. How? And I'm like, okay, you don't understand. It's like you hear from your parents that this person said this is happening. And then I hear from my in-laws that this other person said this is happening. So that's 2 sources. Then I'll see it on like Facebook, or I'll hear it in the grocery store and I'm like, okay, I got 4 sources saying the same thing. It's probably true. Or like my grandpa the other week was like talking about these people that I don't even know, but I know the name because you know names.
There's names that are Punxsutawney
names. It's just, yeah, small town thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just know.
So yeah, we like got done eating and we were there like an hour and a half later.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, we should probably go home, because when we came home, Rachel brought Crumble Cookies. She was staying at her grandparents who live closer to a Crumble, which is like 45 minutes from here. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what Crumble Cookies are, look them up. They're the most aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
This guy has like captured Gen Z with like it being like such a vibe to go get these cookies. They also taste great, and they change the flavors every week. So it's like next week there'll be different flavors. And Rachel was showing me that there's people that like rank them like on TikTok like every week. Yeah, I am not as obsessed with Crumble as it might seem on this podcast, because I did give it as one of my updates. But Jensen told me she wanted to try it after. So as like, after I had given that update. So as like a little, oh, thanks for letting us come stay and hang out, we got some Crumble Cookies so she could try them for the first time. And it really wasn't the best week for them. Like my husband and I were like, do not judge it based off this, because we didn't love the flavors. They weren't bad. It just was like, we're like, there's way better. But yeah, it was fun to just... What was your favorite?
From the ones last night?
Yeah, from the ones last night.
So I think their chocolate chip is always just like good.
Yeah.
I think last night the fruit pizza one.
Okay. I like the wedding cake one, but
It
I
was
just
good,
love
too.
like simple vanilla wedding
Yeah.
cake.
It had raspberry though, a little
Which
hint.
I knew it, you couldn't taste it, but then when someone on the review said there was raspberry, and I was like, there it is.
And I was like, is this amaretto? I don't even know what amaretto is. Does anyone know what amaretto
I
is?
definitely had it, but
I've
I
heard
couldn't
it.
even
I've
like,
had
think
it.
of what it is.
I'm just throwing it out there. When I don't know what a flavor is, that's gonna be my thing. Is it amaretto? Also, talking about Instagram and food, can we please talk about the fact that Jensen Loves Food is back on Instagram?
So let's just roll it back. I think this started probably like freshman or sophomore. I think it was like freshman year of college, actually.
Yeah, when you went to Pitt.
And I went to, so I studied abroad in Italy for 4 months my junior year of college. But after my freshman year, I did like this, like, it's called Pitt +3. It's like, you get 3 credits for going 2 weeks abroad. You literally just like...
I forgot you did that.
I did like the fashion industry in Italy, which
you
is
did.
crazy. Like that even happened. But I was like taking pictures of my food there because Italy. And then I was like, I felt like I was posting too many on my regular Insta. So I was like, I'm just going to make a fun Instagram. I literally called it Jensen Loves Food. No, like, I didn't think anyone would follow it. I just kind of made it for like my own fun purposes. And I have over 1,000 followers on there, but like I was really active on it until COVID. Then things shut down and I just kind of was like, wasn't really going out to eat much. And then I just like never brought it back. So I think I posted a few times in 2021, but that was it. And Jenna, who was on our podcast, she actually texted me a week or two ago. She was like, you need to bring back Jensen Loves Food. And I thought about it and I was like, and then I was talking about it to Rachel and Rachel's like, yes, bring it back.
It's like now, log into the account now.
Yeah, so I found my password and I posted last night, so.
And the people went wild.
I gained all these new followers, because I shared it on
I had
Kind
people
of Country.
messaging me saying, I was obsessed with this account. I'm so happy it's back. And it was like, you're welcome.
So if you haven't already, follow Jensen Loves Food for all the food photos.
And it's definitely that 80-20 balance.
Oh
They're not. I said, Jensen, people are going to be commenting, is this organic, pasture-raised, grass-fed, non-GMO, grain-free?
No. It's literally
No.
seed oils and lots of like rainbow sprinkles and who knows what. But it's fun. And yeah, like Logan and I've always loved like trying new restaurants, so it's been fun. I guess I'll just throw this out there too. I don't know if this is actually going to happen on
It needs to happen.
So when we were in Maine, Logan just said like we should like rate the restaurants we go to, like literally have like a food, like a score, like a 5-star. So we started like ranking the restaurants.
It's not the Michelin star, it's the Crady star.
The Crady star review. So we're like, okay, quality of the main course, the menu, the service, and so we like.
What are your criteria?
Okay, I'm gonna.
Your ranking criteria.
So it's like quality of the main course, the appetizer, if applicable, because we don't always get an appetizer. There's service, the menu. If anything was unique, like was there something unique they did?
Is ambiance on there? Just like overall?
Vibes. That's what we got.
Vibes is the new word for ambiance.
And there might be one more, but I think that might be it. Oh, was it worth it? Like, you know, if you like spend a lot of money on a meal, but you're like, wasn't worth it. Or if it's like, wow, that was actually like pretty cheap and it was amazing. Like, so it's like, like, did you actually feel like you got your money's worth? So yeah, we started doing that. So we would like, every time we go to dinner, we'd be like, let's talk about it.
That's fun.
So we're thinking about maybe bringing that to Jensen Loves Food. I don't know. It's also the thing about this food account is I manage so many Instagram accounts. I run our youth group's Instagram account. I run my own personal. I help with Kind of Crunchy.
She does like all of Kind of Crunchy because it overwhelms me to do social media.
I help with my actual jobs like fitness social media, and I also now Jensen Loves Food. So and I'm trying to be on my phone.
When Jensen pulls up like her Instagram thing, it's like all her accounts.
I'm trying to be on my phone less. Like literally, I'm like I want to be on social media less, but I physically can't. So, but Jensen Loves Food's fun. Like I don't really think about it. I don't think about a caption. I literally just kind of post a photo. And
can we talk about like Jensen is really good at doing social media stuff, and for her, she's like, no, literally, it's not a stressor. I love doing it. It's easy. I can just like pop things up. And I am like chronically stressed by just even existing on social media, which some of you may not have guessed. I do get joy from it sometimes. Sometimes. I don't know why. It's just a stressor in my life. I can't explain it. And maybe some of you relate to that. Like, I just don't like to feel pressured to put content out. And I don't even feel like, it's not even like looking at likes or things like that. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And I think I have like a weird relationship with social media. I used to be really active, have all these accounts. And then during COVID, I read a book called Digital Minimalism and went like completely off all tech pretty much for like a long time. Even like my computer and stuff. And it was like really transformative in my life. And so then I'm still struggling to find that balance. And like, I think at my core, I do not want to own a smartphone or a computer. And I just want to live on a homestead 100 years ago, but that's not life now.
Yeah.
And it has been so hard for me to find the balance between, I love connecting with people on social media. And there's so many things I do deeply love about it, but then there's so many things that feel like unaligned with it. And I don't have it figured out yet for me.
But your oh, hi Bentley. Your content is really good though. I always tell Rachel, I'm like, I'm so excited when I see her story pop up.
Which is so
because
cute.
she's just like, I don't know, it's just, she has a whole aesthetic and like, your food's always like the most beautiful sourdough. And I'm just like, oh, Rachel. So even though it stresses you out, you create really cool stuff. So.
Well, my content the other day was eating mustard on cottage cheese.
Oh wait, I did see that, yes.
Because I keep seeing this girl pop up on my TikTok that's eating mustard on cottage cheese as like a dip. And I love really like pungent flavors like mustard and cottage cheese or like sauerkraut. I would throw sauerkraut on the mix. Maybe that's my next thing. Ew. I know, right?
Ugh, yum.
I love strong flavors like that. And so I was testing it out and might be gross, but surprisingly, I liked it. Because I like it, I might start eating it. And you can judge me how you want, but it's actually good. So don't knock it till you try it if you don't mind cottage cheese or mustard. But yeah, so that was my content the other day. That was pretty stress-free. That was just because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Also, there were only 2 people that voted they would try it on my poll. Everybody else was like, you couldn't pay me. Honestly, it's not bad, guys. Don't judge it. Don't judge it.
I'm probably not going to try it because I don't like cottage cheese or mustard. So probably not going to try it, but hey, you do you.
Wait, I'm a weird food combo person though.
You are.
I used to love, and I stand by this, if you get a chunk of Colby cheese, put it on a spoon and have hot chocolate, and you dip it down just till it gets a little melty, and then eat it with like a little hot chocolate on the spoon. It is the perfect blend of flavors, and people think I'm nuts. I guess I like looked it up. I think in Brazil they eat like cheese with chocolate or something like that. I'm telling you, it's good.
Rachel, I remember her telling me this truly in middle school that she would do this, and I thought she was crazy then. And
have you tried it?
No, but I would be more willing to try it.
You have to try it. You have
to
try it. It really is good. Jensen used to eat her pancakes dipped in ketchup. I'm gonna out you now.
I literally, when you were saying that, I was like, what did I used to do that was weird? And I was like, oh, that I literally thought of that. I'm like, I don't even know if Rachel knows that.
I guess she does go like savory, but
yeah, that's weird. I don't know why.
I haven't tried that one.
I don't do that anymore. That was like a phase that.
But ketchup is like very sugary and sweet.
True.
At this point, they add so much sugar to it, so it could be a syrup alternative.
Let's be honest.
But
yeah. Should we share any other life updates? Do you want to share?
Okay, yeah, on the opposite spectrum, not talking about food. The last thing I'll share, I have started, I have to share this because it's literally my obsession right now. I downloaded the Peloton app. I do not have a Peloton bike, Peloton treadmill. I have never listened to music when I run outside. Like, I just like to run outside. I don't even listen to music in the gym. I hate being instructed by a workout instructor. Like, I'm just like, shut up. I don't like being instructed by a workout instructor.
Is this when you came to my Pure Barre class? Were you thinking that the whole time?
Shut up.
Like, Jensen, shut up. Quit talking the whole time.
No, I don't know. I don't know what it is with me.
I'm kidding.
I'm like, I want to be the instructor. Like, stop telling me what to do. I'll come up there and like, that's how I feel in a workout class. Like, no, I'm not doing what you say. I'm going to do what I want to say. So I downloaded the Peloton app on a whim and did a guided run, and like, it changed my life. I don't know what it is. And I'm like, not even on a Peloton treadmill. I'm on a treadmill at the gym. I plugged my headphones in. They have like a curated playlist that you're running to the music, almost like you'd like spin to the music, like in a spin class, right? And there is an instructor and they're like talking the whole way through. I've always hated running on the treadmill. I think though, because I get so bored and I'm used to running outside and there's so much going on and like to pay attention to. I am obsessed with the guided running from Peloton for the treadmill. And like the obsession is at the point where I'm like going to bed, like cannot wait to wake up at 5:45, 6 a.m. and go on a Peloton run on the treadmill. And like, I used to detest the treadmill. I don't know what has happened to me, but I'm like, fully obsessed with all I want to do is these Peloton runs. And I'm just saying, like, they changed my life. I love them. And I have not been in my running era for a long time because like outside runs just aren't doing it for me. I'm like bored or I don't know. I just haven't been running like that. And so it's really just been my thing lately.
That's awesome.
I love it because it's like you can do them at any time. It's not like you have to go to the spin class at a certain time every day. So there was a free trial and then it's like you have to pay to get unlimited. But I was like, this is actually worth the money for me because it's like, if I do a run a day, it's like $1 a day. Oh, yeah. And I'm like doing a run a day pretty much because I'm like so obsessed with it. Yeah. I'm like on Sunday, that's supposed to be my rest day. I'm like, should I go to the gym and do a run because I really want to. And I'm like, you know what? If I am craving it that much, I should just go do it because it's like bringing me all these good endorphins. I love it. I am obsessed with it. So I might be re-entering my running era. Also, I'm a lot faster of a runner than I used to be. I'm realizing I used to just like leisurely outside, like, cause I was always going for distance and just like didn't care about my time. And then I'm doing it with this and they're saying like about the range they want you in. And I'm always at like top of the range and I'm like, I'm flying, I'm fast. I feel like on a little high. So anyway, maybe it's just giving my ego a stroke that I still can run. But I'm obsessed with it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so if you haven't tried the Peloton app, there is a free download and you could try like a spin or a run, see if you like it because it's pretty good.
I did it during COVID because it was free during COVID. And I did like, but I never did the runs. I did always like the core and strength workouts. Yeah. So they were really good too. And it was nice, like they have everything from like 5 minutes to like 50 minutes. So it's like you literally have 10 minutes. You can do a workout. You can type in like 30-minute pop punk run or 30-minute country ride. And they're going to have multiple options. Here's the other thing too. I don't even know like anything about the instructors. The other day, like you can put in a calendar what days you want to do stuff. So I'll like go through bookmark runs that I want to do or whatever when I have some free time. And then I'll like pop them in my calendar for the week or just pick that day. I go on this one. It's a British guy. And I was like, this is going to be the best run. I love a British accent. Like, love it. And I was like, I didn't even know this because I don't know any of the instructors. And now I'm like, I love him. I need it. Like, because that alone, I was like, I could run for 2 hours just because he's British. I feel like people get obsessed with certain Peloton instructors. It seems like I've seen that.
Yes, yeah. I've seen that. I don't know any of them. I don't know the names of any of them. I've loved every single one. But it's just like, it's fun. It's something new. Something
yay, different. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we've been talking a really long time just about like life.
Let's get into the episode because
we didn't even say what the title of the episode is yet.
Well, Rachel, you want to tell?
It is everyone? Your guide to a stress-free life. So this should be a fun one.
Yeah. Can we talk about first, I guess, how you've handled stress in the past or what things used to be stressful for you? Like, have you been worse, better? Like, because I know, like, for me personally, like, I was a psychopath in high school and college with my grades. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Like, I was
I'm like, no, you weren't. Yeah, no, I remember.
I wanted to get my goal was to get literally 100% on everything. Like, I was just striving to be the top, the best. And
did you win valedictorian?
Yeah.
I thought so. I didn't want to say it if you weren't because I thought it'd be a sore spot, but I was pretty sure you were valedictorian. No. Yeah, Jensen was concerned about our grades. We actually, wait. There was like this competition in our high school class of who was in the number 1, number 2, number 3 spots. Yeah. Like leading up to high school graduation.
Yes.
My husband is very smart naturally. It's effortless. He does not have to try. He slept in every math class in high school, would wake up, take the test, do it a way the teacher didn't even teach, and get 100%, and they'd be like, livid. So for a period of time, the 2 people that were in number 1 and number 2 like were bumped out, and they're like, who is it? Who took it? Mm-hmm. And my husband was like, I'm gonna tell them it was me because they'll be so mad. So he started a rumor that it was him, even though it wasn't, because he didn't put effort in and like didn't care. And they were like, how is he?
That's so
it wasn't though. It wasn't. And he wasn't trying.
But that caused me stress because I was like, if I do bad on one assignment, I won't be valedictorian. And I was like, and in my mind, like that was the only thing that mattered. And it's funny, like my parents were never like, they didn't care. They're like, you can get a B, like we don't care what grades you get. Like you're just doing. It was self-inflicted. It was self-inflicted. It was literally just like, no, I need to be valedictorian. And I was. And honestly.
And I was.
Honestly, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm going to just, before we get. If you're in high school and you're striving for this, don't. Like, that parents...
Just, like, live your life. Live your life. Enjoy doing nothing in high school while you can.
It doesn't matter. And I also did not know the Lord at this point, so that was, like, my, like, idol of becoming... It doesn't matter. Like, obviously, like, you need to study. You need to do well. You want to succeed. But, like, don't strive for that perfection, because I was just crazy all of my high school years, and I took that into college too. I wasn't like as bad, but like actually freshman year of college I was pretty bad. Actually, Logan met me freshman year of college and thought I was a psychopath because of how much I would study. When it honestly, like, if you get the degree, that's...
D's get degrees. Okay, I don't want to be preaching that message to anyone who listens that's like...
Parents are like, you can't listen to Kind of Crunchy anymore.
But like, take the pressure off. You really... Yeah, when you graduate from college and you have that piece of paper that says you're a college graduate from wherever, they are not showing whether you got an A in that class or a D.
Yeah.
If you got a D and you were able to get that diploma, it's the same as the people who got A's.
Yeah. And it's funny how like in high school and college, like that feels like everything. If you fail a test, if you like miss an assignment, like your life is over, when it's not. But anyways, the question was like, how do we used to handle stress? I did not handle stress well. I feel like I've definitely gotten better with handling it. Different things, I guess, stress me out now. But yeah, you go, Rachel, because...
I would say I resonate with that. Jensen and I, maybe that's why we were friends. We were trauma bonding over our chronically stressed lives, that like, it was like, what are we stressed about? Yeah, I was a little bit of an overachiever in high school. I was not going for valedictorian spot.
She was class president.
I was class president. I was in top 5 of the class though. I let go of the valedictorian spot, but I was still up there. So I still cared, studied, but I was on the borough council as a student rep. I was on the school board as a student rep. I was literally senior year, I started a nonprofit with my brother. I was overextending myself for like what? Like,
and I just want to say,
just overachieving.
Sorry I interrupted you. Rachel just always went like above and beyond with everything in high school. Like, just as class president, you just like...
Not my life.
You just like, I remember the one time, like, you brought our, like, assembly outside, and then we had, like, this dance in the courtyard. Like, all these things that no one had ever done in the past, Rachel's like, we're doing it. And, like...
Wow, an innovator over time.
She still is.
Assembly in the courtyard.
But again, all those things added a lot of stress because it was like, she wasn't just doing it the way things were. She was like, we're going to do it bigger and better.
And then it's like, I'm not even having fun. I'm doing this for everyone else. And then I'm, like, resenting it. So anyway, yeah, self-inflicted stress for really no reason. And I'd say that continued with me into college. I struggled to just be like, this is what I'm doing right now, and I'm content with that. My husband's always talking to me. He's like, your issue is you love to be chronically busy, and then it starts to overwhelm you, so you pull back on it, but then you get bored, so you take on other things to become chronically busy, and then they overwhelm you, so you pull back, and it's just this cycle. And I'm like, you know what? That is really insightful, but I have no idea how to quit. I do think I'm doing better at like just recognizing it is part of getting to the root of the problem. Yeah. So I would say I have improved. I honestly, COVID was an awful thing. And I think everyone would say this, like, that there were positives culturally that happened, like in people's personal lives from it. And for me, that like everything coming to a halt was like incredibly transformative of a period, because it kind of just like forced me into doing nothing in a lot of ways. And there was like a lot of change and healing that had to happen there. So I think since then I've done better. I still get caught in these cycles though. Still working to manage my stress, but that's why we're talking about your guide to a stress-free life today, because we have some tips.
Yes. So do we want to get into, I guess, what stress is? I feel like we know what stress is, but like what actually is it?
Yeah. So stress, I mean, like, obviously we all know what it feels like to be stressed, but I feel like there's like mini stressors, and then there's like chronic stress. And I actually think it's interesting. I read that like a small amount of stress on the body is actually healthy because it makes the body like work and be working properly and like having to be kind of like alert and stuff. But it's all about like that fine line of like, then chronic stress can lead to chronic inflammation and ultimately is the root of disease. And I recently pulled my back and I said, you know what? It's because I've been stressed. And my parents were like, what? And I was like, I have all this inflammation in my body because I'm overstressing myself, and then my immune system's not working as good, so I've got like the sniffles, and then I pulled my back and my muscles are inflamed, and I was like, it's all because of stress, because I'm not taking care of myself, and then your body can't work as good. So it does affect our bodies.
And the issue now is we suffer from a chronic stress in society. So in the olden days, stress used to be like these small acute forms, and you would get these little bursts of stress like, oh, you live in the wilderness and there's a tiger chasing you. You escape that tiger and you're back to normal. Then you're just like, all right, no stress anymore, I'm good. But now it's like we're just constantly in a state of stress, whether that's a stressful job, whether that's finances, whether that's relationships that aren't great that we're just constantly living in, whether it's we're too busy and our schedule's too filled, whether we can't say no and we're just constantly on the go. Like, all these things are chronic stressors, and we're just in that state at all times. Whereas like back then, like, you would be stressed and then you'd be good. You'd be stressed and good. Now it's just like all stress.
Yeah. So some signs your body might be stressed if you're like, because I think the thing is sometimes you're like, no, I'm managing it well. I am not stressed. But then your body's like, eek, inside, like, I'm stressed though. I'm feeling the impact of this. You're really not managing it. Teeth grinding or clenching. When I am stressed, I know it because my neck gets super sore and tight, and I will wake up and be like, I can't even open my mouth. I was clenching so hard in my sleep. Like, it's like painful. I had to get a mouth guard.
Really?
Like 2 years ago.
Didn't know that.
Because I don't grind. I was clenching so hard in my sleep. And it's like, what are you doing to yourself, girl, that you're that stressed that in your sleep your body is like holding on for dear life clenching? So that can be a sign. Bad digestion or gut.
I was gonna say constipation, digestion issues, like that for me is like a big sign.
Graying hair, dry skin,
hormone issues, like your cycle being out of sync,
sudden weight loss. Like, you know, people say like after a breakup people will lose weight, or like after the death of a loved one. Like, stress contributes to that. So yeah, sometimes your body, or weight gain. Yeah, it can be the opposite too, but sometimes your body is saying like, I'm trying to send you signals, we're really not okay here, and you're like, no, push through, you're fine, you got it. And it's like, please give me some relief.
We live in a society that's just like push through, and it's like sometimes we need to take a step back and address the stress, address what's going on in our lives, and just like reset ourselves.
For sure. So saying that, do we want to talk a little bit about like stress tips, or did you have anything?
I have such a long list of tips because I feel like, honestly, we all know what stress is. We're all probably stressed. Like, let's get down to the things we can actually do to help. The little things, the big things.
Yes.
So you want to start, and then
I feel like I want to talk about, because I feel like there's long-term solutions for dealing with stress, but then there's like immediate in a stressful situation. Like, okay, something that causes me stress and anxiety, because they're like dual sometimes for me, is when I go to an airport and I'm traveling. I wish I wasn't this person. I want to be a cool traveler so bad. I've traveled so much, guys. I used to lead teams on trips like multiple times throughout the year, teams of like 15 people internationally, okay? Why I am chronically stressed by traveling to an airport and on a plane by myself, beyond me. Actually, it's a control issue because I'm not in control of like, is there traffic? Am I gonna get there on time? It all goes back to that. I know that. But it causes me travel stress and anxiety, and I should be way cooler than I am, but I'm not. So like quick relief tips are like for when you're like in that like panic, like that fight or flight state, and you're like, ah! Like these are things that can help your body immediately calm down so you can think a little clearer. Okay, so the first one is this really research studied method of breathing to like calm you down. It's a double inhale with a long exhale breathing. So you do it 2 to 3 times. So that's like you inhale once and then again, and then a really long breath out. Really Did you just do that with me? Go rewind and do it. I had a little sniffle in my breath. I told you I'm stuffed up because I've been stressed and not taking care of myself. But anyway, if you do that 2 to 3 times, it just like can bring it all down. Other thing, a stress ball. I used to work in the schools and I had like little prize boxes for my kitties, and I'd like order random stuff, and a stress ball came in one time, and I kept it because thank goodness, I didn't know I needed it till I had it. I still have, it's just like to squeeze that thing and then like watch the little beads go, calms me down. That sounds so lame, but I love that thing. And just to take a 5-minute break. Like if you were working on a project and like, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my mind, or like doing something, take a step away for 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes. Yeah. The world's not gonna end. Take your little breaths. Yeah. Squeeze a little stress ball or just like your fists and release, and take a sec away.
Sometimes I try to, and again, I'm not perfect with like going into this mindset, but if I'm in a very stressful situation, I say to myself, like, is this gonna matter in 5 years? Like a stressful situation at work, like, is this really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things? You know what I was stressed about this week? I accidentally washed chapstick in the washing machine, and it's on a lot of Logan's clothes. And Logan, if you're listening, I have been working so hard to get the stain out. You have no idea. But I was
stressing her out. Just throw the clothes away and buy new ones.
But I'm like, does it really matter? Like in the grand scheme of life, does it matter? No, it doesn't. So it's like, and again, some things do matter. Like there are like life and death situations, but a lot of the times the things we're stressed about are not. We just put them on this huge pedestal and we think it's the end of the world. So just like trying to like have your mindset go to like, is this gonna matter in 5 years? If it does, okay, you can be stressed. But if it's not, like take a step, reset, and be like, okay, it's gonna be okay.
I love it.
Should we get into some more
like long-term
things?
Like, let's work on your stress, right?
I have, do you want to go first?
You can, if you have one ready to go.
Well, I feel like you have this one too, and I feel like we should hit on it first because I feel like it's probably one of the biggest and best things you can do. And it's something that Rachel and I both actively struggle with, is learning to say no. And Rachel is too, any opportunity you throw our way, any time you say, do you want to get coffee? Do you want to go on a double date? Do you want to, hey, would you want to do this? Like my immediate reaction is yes. And I think that I have 100 hours in every day and I physically just can't do it all. But in my mindset, every opportunity is a good opportunity. But good opportunities become bad when they literally fill up your schedule so much that you just feel like you can't breathe. And I think the thing for me is, and I think like, you know, when you're a woman in your home, like if you're saying yes to all these things, you're behind on your laundry, you're behind on all these things. And I know for me, I get really stressed when my house isn't like in order. So then I'm doing all these things. I haven't pulled weeds in a week and our backyard's a mess, and that's stressing me out. So it's like not filling up your schedule, because it's interesting. I was talking to someone that I go on a lot of coffee dates with friends. If you're listening to this, we probably go on coffee dates because I'm just always, I love connecting with people. I love pouring into people. I love people pouring into me. I get so much life from that. But it's interesting, like even if I go get coffee with a friend and I feel really filled up after, like my body doesn't see that. I think our bodies see that like, oh my goodness, your schedule is so full, like you're on the go all the time. Even though like you're doing good things, like my body is like, Jensen, sit, rest, be in your home. So yes, learning to say no, it is a very hard thing to do, especially if you're a go-getter. But it's something I'm really trying to work on.
Can I just say too, that I want to like hit on that in kind of a different note of being like, you were saying like, I'm over the top or like extra with things. And I would agree. say like sometimes my in-laws will randomly message me on like a Thursday and be like, you guys want to come for dinner? Like my mother-in-law will be like, I'm making this, this, and this, and it's too much food for just us two. We'd love to have you guys. I can't just say, yeah, sounds great. Like, it's a break for me for cooking. We'd love to visit with you guys. Like, oh, perfect. Then Logan can just take those leftovers for his lunch. Like, it's going to take XYZ off my to-do list for the day, and we get time with my in-laws if like we have a free night. No, I have to say, okay, what can I bring? Can I bring a salad? Can I make a strawberry shortcake from scratch? And then I don't have strawberries, and then I'm like, oh, I'll drive 20 minutes to Smicksburg to get strawberries from the Amish at the only place they are right now for $5 a quart. But then I don't have cash, so I have to go get cash from the bank. And then I'm like stressed making a strawberry shortcake, and it's like a more stressful thing in my day. And it's like, no one asked you. Just be like, yeah, that sounds great. And let yourself be poured into, and don't feel that pressure of like, oh, they're doing something nice for me. I have to outdo it with doing something nice for them, like back. Like, yes, it's rude if I'm like going to their house for dinner every single night and never offering once, like, can I bring something? Can I do something? But it's okay to just be like, yeah, would love to. And I think we just need to like be okay with being like, you know what? You want to do something for me? I fully accept that. Yeah. My mom always, like, she always used to say this to me if she was going to do something like, oh, I got your meal. And then I was like, you know, you're always like, no, you can't. She'd always say, do not rob me of a blessing. Ooh. And then it's like, I can't say anything back to that.
I love that.
So now it's like, I'm treating my mom to dinner and she's always like, no. And I'm like, don't rob me of a blessing. And she's like, she really can't say anything because I'm throwing it back at her. But I actually love that. And it's like, I always have to remind myself, don't rob them of a blessing. Like someone's like, I want to treat you, like, don't be overly insistent or like, I'm going to sneak the money in your car or something like that. Or like, I have to bring the cake. Like, just chill out a little. Yeah. Like, relax. I'm talking to myself. Sorry.
Something else I want to add with saying no is, someone told me this and I think it's amazing. If, say, like, someone asks you, hey, do you guys want to hang out Thursday night? And you have just not spent time in your own home. You have not spent time with your husband. You are just like, feel like it's your only free night of the week. You can say, no, I'm sorry, we have a prior commitment. You don't need to say that that prior commitment is like sitting on your couch, like relaxing. Like we don't all, I feel like we always have to have a reason. Like, no, I'm sorry, I have this. Like, or we have to justify our no.
Just say no.
You can just say no. Like you're no.
You want to hang out? No. Like, okay, they might take that a little.
But like you don't have to like, justify.
Sorry, we can't.
Sorry, we can't this evening. Let's do it another time. Like you don't need to have like a reason for it. Like I feel like we are just so available all the time to people, and it's like, being available all the time to people can be exhausting. So just really learning to say no. We're in the boat with you guys. We struggle too. Like, we're not saying we have to.
Maybe even more than you struggle.
Probably, actually, you're probably better at it than us.
You're probably, this doesn't resonate. You guys should have just done this for yourselves. This is therapy.
We actually are. This is actually, we're just working through
This is just our therapy session.
Thanks for tuning in.
We should have had a therapist on this episode to like help us with our issues.
I know.
Yeah, so saying no is a good one. One that I would hit on is definitely, like, I guess this kind of goes with what Jensen was saying, but having intentionality with self-care time. So whatever that looks like for you that really makes you actually feel like I have my life together, I feel better about it, I feel calmer, I feel less stressed. So for me, that is like getting that shower. Like, I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but like the full shower where I'm like, not in a time crunch, I'm like exfoliating, I'm doing a hair mask, a face mask, I'm shaving, I'm body oiling, I'm lotioning and doing all my skincare, like I'm taking care of my nails, like I'm doing everything. It's a full shower. Like it just makes me feel like better about myself. Like I'm clean, I have my life together. Just like scheduling out time for that. Like weekly, even bi-weekly would be better. I do shower more than that. It's just every shower is not at that shower. Although my logo was on my case about me showering.
It's like, wait, you need a shower.
It was I went literally like one day without a shower and I hadn't done anything other than sit and talk to people. And I was like, I'm not dirty. My husband loves showers though. So that's just like,
I was in the same boat.
He'll get like 3 a day. And I'm like, I'm not dirty. Right?
It's also a guy thing. Like when they walk, they just put their head in the water and their hair's dry in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
like,
they don't understand. They don't understand. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, scheduling in that self-care time. So whether that looks like a shower for you, if that is laying on your couch doing nothing, schedule it in.
Yeah.
Schedule it in, make time.
I love that. My next thing would be is time in nature. Our time outside is probably one of the most underrated ways we can heal ourselves. Sitting on the ground, like there is science behind why grounding actually like reduces like stress and inflammation in you. Being in the sunshine, being in fresh air, not having your phone with you. Like, I feel like our phone is such a stressor because we hear that ping and it's like, oh, I have to react to that. Someone needs me. Go outside, leave your phone inside, and actually just like be outside. And there's something so relaxing, so calming about that. I'm not the best at it, but I've been really trying to. One of my other tips was to go for a walk, and I kind of combine this. Like, I like to, when I get up in the morning Sundays, take Bentley for a walk and not take my phone with me. So it's literally just me, nature, morning sunlight, no cell phone. And I can just think, and I can think, I can pray, I can just be. And I think it's really something so beautiful, and it's free too. I feel like there's so many things that people are saying like you need to do to like relax and get stress free, and there's and like literally just going outside, it's free and it's easy. And it's something I feel like we're just so susceptible to just staying inside, behind our screens, behind our TVs. Like, we don't get outside, especially in the summer right now. Like, in the winter, I get it. But, like, now it's beautiful. Like, get outside.
Yeah. I would say, to kind of go off that, logging off. Kind of, like, I was kind of hitting on this just when we were, like, chatting in the intro during COVID. Like, first off, I'm going to link that book, Digital Minimalism. It really did, like, change my life and changed my perspective on so many things, and I would recommend it to everybody. But just like realizing like all this technology we're logged onto and this whole like social connectivity world that we're constantly inundated with is not normal for like hundreds of years. This is new, and our brain doesn't know how to process it or is still learning how to, and it is normal to feel stressed or overwhelmed by that. And even if you're not seeing that, your body might be feeling that. Like, take a week off social media, take a month, take a year off of social media or like TV and screens and all this stuff. Don't stop listening to the pod though. You can listen to the podcast.
Never stop listening to the pod.
My favorite thing is when I go out of the country and I do not have an international plan or Wi-Fi or my phone, and I can say, sorry, I really can't. And I just don't make a point to have my phone, and I can literally turn it off, put it in a bag, and not look at it for a whole week. Do you know the stress I feel when I turn it back on when I get in the States?
Yes.
The amount of stuff coming in, I'm just like, I don't even want to look. I don't even want to look at what's on there. Like, log off.
Yeah.
The world's not going to end because you didn't text this person back in 30 minutes, or you missed an Instagram notification, or you didn't check your email.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah.
Just log off.
When I was in Maine, I was completely logged off social
amazing.
media, off my email.
And then I was just like inundating her with this for the podcast, that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am the worst.
No, kind of Crunchy always brings me joy, so that doesn't stress me out. But
but I was being bad.
Oh no, you're fine. But it was just so nice to be off social media, and like I was saying before, I feel like I run so many accounts, so it's hard for me to like be like Logan's like, yeah, I'm done with Instagram, and he has this one account and he's done. I'm like, okay, cool, I can't do that. But setting healthy boundaries is something I want to get better at. I want to really focus, I'm saying this so I do it, is not being on social media on Sundays. I feel like resting,
I try to do that.
Having a Sabbath of just like being off my phone, because no offense, social media, we could do a whole topic on why that is stressful. But we all know it's stressful because we just compare ourselves and we're never good enough, and there's just so much inundating our brains. So get off social media for a little bit. Take that time.
Yeah.
I guess my next tip would be, this might not be applicable to everyone, and I feel like it doesn't really affect me that much, but I know a lot of people have switched to decaf because they say that like caffeine really just like stresses them out more. Like I know people say they've quit coffee or they've switched to decaf and it's really helped their stress levels. I personally haven't had that experience, but if you're someone that's like pounding caffeine all day and you just kind of feel chronically stressed, like maybe start limiting your caffeine. It may or may not help you, but I know a lot of people say like caffeine really affects them more than they think.
Can I make a wild suggestion to all you coffee lovers?
Throw it out there.
You're gonna say no immediately, but don't do that.
This is
just
to me.
Consider it. What if you tried even just a day, a week, to switch to an herbal tea for half the times you drink coffee? Like a really nice calming herbal tea. Maybe even just adding it, not taking the coffee away. Before bed, having a cup of chamomile tea with a little honey and just like have 5 minutes holding a cup of tea on your couch, not on your phone, not doing anything. Just it's tea time. What if you just did that for a week? I think it might calm you down. I'm telling you, tea is just so cozy to be like, I'm just with my cute little cup of tea and it's my tea time.
I'm gonna have to send this episode to my friend Abby Grace.
Does she have tea time?
No, literally, when I would go to her house, she's like, do you want tea? Like, she would always make me tea.
And she puts the kettle on?
The kettle. And it was always like,
right?
I would always call it like my tea time with Abby Grace. And it was just like the most calming thing. I would just sit on her couch and we'd have our cup of tea. And it was so calming. So, and also I just need to note, the way you just describe that, like, you just described that in the most like peaceful, relaxing voice.
That's how you have to go into it. That's what tea does to you guys.
The
coffee, you're like, it's coffee time. Tea is like, it's tea time.
So I just got a kettle for Christmas and I love it.
Oh, it's so cute. I'm looking at it on her stove right now. It's a cute tea.
But I'm like not in a tea phase. I feel like that's more like a fall winter thing for me.
But there's some summer.
I know. I'm like such a coffee freak that I need to work on. I need to drink more tea.
Here's the thing. When you open yourself up to the tea world, you realize coffee is coffee. Yes, you can do all these crazy flavors, but the base is still coffee. Tea is like a whole new world. You could have a different tea every single day of the year and rank teas.
True, I could.
It's just a whole new world.
Yeah.
There's something so cozy, and once you get into it, that you're like, you have like a actual like loose leaf tea with like the diffuser.
That's what we have, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I'm obsessed.
I have a manatee.
I see
tea,
that.
and it like hangs on the little mug. It's really cute because it's tea. Did you get it? Yeah. But yeah, just a wild thing I'm throwing out there to you coffee lovers. Maybe come to the tea side for a day. See how you feel.
Switch to the dark side. Okay.
See how you
What's
feel.
your next tip?
Okay, my next tip is, okay, all the things you're gonna hear: meditation, gratitude, journaling, breath work, relaxing, all grouped in one. All the good things. I feel like we could dive into each of these. But I think it all boils down to like carving out time for like a stillness practice and a mindfulness of sorts. So whether that's meditating, whether that's writing down what you're grateful for, like all these things have research backing them, saying they're proven to help reduce stress, things like that. Whether it's just journaling your free thoughts, relaxing in some sort, the breath work, I mean, obviously like we shared about the 2 breaths in, 1 long exhale helps, but even just like practicing a breath work practice daily, I feel like it all boils down to, it's like 5 to 10 minute little carved out time where you're taking a step away, taking a pause in your day, and intentionally, I feel like it all boils down to where you're taking a step away, taking a pause in your day, and intentionally taking time to just like kind of be still or be mindful.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
My next one's just a little bit more like a fun tip. Is laugh more, dance more.
Oh,
like it sounds so silly.
Playful,
it
fun.
Sounds silly, but just like getting back to the simple joys. Like think about when you were a kid and all like the games you'd play, or just like laughing and you're just, it sounds so simple and so like, okay, how's laughing and help? But there's actually science behind why like laughing and dancing and things like that actually do help lower your stress. So make sure you're carving out time for fun. Like life is too short to just like have your to-do list every day and have the things you need to do. Like watch a fun movie, just like hang out with your spouse and laugh. Like just the little things like that can really make a big difference. So make sure you're carving out intentional time for joy.
Can I also say, I don't have kids. I'm not going to give you parenting advice, but I want to say, like, I can't wait to have kids because I almost feel like, for many reasons, but I almost feel like when I have kids, you know, kids are just like so unapologetically doing whatever they want. Like, they'll jump off a couch like 50 times and be like, I am so cool. Look at this spin move I did off the couch. Like, they just like aren't like, okay, that's not that cool. Like, everything's so cool to them and fun. And I feel like it gives you an excuse to be like just unhinged, silly, weird, and like not feel as like crazy for it. And I have babysat my friend's baby, and she's like 7 months old. And I'm just like the weirdest. Like, I'm just doing the weirdest things. And it's like, what's to have fun with the baby, right? Like the voices, the faces, the dance moves. If you have children, just like, I know it's probably easier said than done to like chill out about it, but just like be stupid, be silly. Like, yeah, I love that. Just like have fun. Kids almost give you an excuse to be like the weirdest version of yourself, like to make them laugh or to play with them. So just like go for it. No one cares. Life's not that serious.
Yeah. Also, Bentley has another pair of Logan socks right now.
My husband got these socks and dogs love them. I don't know what's in them. They're Adidas socks. My dog is obsessed. He's like trying to get in my husband's sock drawer all the time and like just wants to chew on these socks. We came to Jensen's house. Apparently my husband just leaves his bag open and everywhere, which I fully know. Her dog loves the socks equally as much. He keeps bringing us pairs of them. I don't know.
How many more do you have?
Just a few more. What about you?
I have like 2 more probably.
Okay.
One thing I would say, like, and this is a more expensive thing, and I would say like this is not your first thing. Like, first thing, probably just get outside. But acupuncture, I've talked about this before.
Okay.
If you're dealing with chronic stress, like, it is known to help relax you. Like, after like 30 minutes of acupuncture, I feel like I just like was at a retreat all day. My body feels so relaxed. And again, it's a more expensive option. But if you're dealing with chronic stress, or you have like, you know, inflammation or a lot of like things that stress leads to, it's something worth trying, because I know it's definitely done wonders for me. And again, like, it's not like the most easy thing to do, but if like you're like, I don't know what to do, I've tried everything, like, acupuncture, it doesn't hurt, it's relaxing. I'm telling you, like, I know it sounds weird with all the needles, it's actually amazing. So that would be a tip if you're like really struggling and you've like exhausted all options.
I would say another thing, like kind of in that realm, I feel like we've talked about this endlessly. This wasn't even like super on my list, was just like doing like sauna to cold plunge, like for your physiological body stress. I think it can be really helpful for that. Okay, one of the next ones I have relates to like your nutrition, your food. Making sure you are eating enough that your body's not like literally starving stressed, right? Getting in breakfast can help with that. The caffeine after breakfast, you've heard it here before, right? Focusing on foods that help with those stress levels, that maybe have higher levels of magnesium, because magnesium can help with stress. So you want to know what one of my favorite things is with magnesium in it? Really dark chocolate. It can help you relax. So you know what you need to do a couple hours before bed? I love the tart cherry like mocktails and everything. Eat some chocolate. What's a better stress relief? Okay, us women want chocolate? Really dark chocolate, it's gonna help you relax anyway.
I love that.
It's the best. Also, turkey has tryptophan, like, you know, after Thanksgiving, you're like, I'm so sleepy. It helps you relax. A little turkey, oats, the tart cherry juice, all of those can be good.
That's a good tip. I would say I have 2 more. So my next one would be time with loved ones that fill you up. So we have people in our lives that, like, you know, you like go hang out with someone and you feel like drained after. And then there's people you hang out with, you're like, wow, I feel so filled up. I feel so encouraged. And again, not that you shouldn't pour into people that like might need poured into, that might be a little more exhausting, but really like spending time with loved ones. And this also just ties into being like disconnected, like being off your phones, literally just spending quality time. Like, there is nothing more than like the human connection. I feel like that was something that happened during COVID. People just weren't connecting with one another. But literally, like, just sitting on the couch last night talking to you and your Logan, like, we weren't on our phones, we were hanging out, we were just like laughing, having good conversation. Like, that is a stress relief in itself. So I would just like encourage you to make sure you're just like carving out time to spend with loved ones, like off your phones, really just like enjoying your time together. Not to a point where it's like you've spent so much time with people that you're exhausted, but just like really like knowing what people like fill you up and encourage you and don't drain your battery.
This almost goes back to like in the beginning when we were saying like saying no to things. And this is just like an aside on what you were talking about. Literally my screensaver on my phone right now, my husband was like, what in the world is your screensaver? I made it on Canva and put it because I needed it as a reminder. It was actually, the Bible I read is the She Reads Truth Bible. And every few pages they have like just like a little 1-page like kind of devotional like that talks on some of the scripture you just read or whatever. And I have a couple different versions of Bibles and I jump between them and whatever. But one of the devotionals I was reading, something she said in it was, I realized I was spending my time building up things that were just going to make a bonfire in the end. And like, that was just really profound for me because like, it is like when I look through like a lens of like, when I die, what's the significance of what I'm doing here? It like so much pivots my intentions and perspective and time. And for me, that's like, is this something I need to be investing in? Because I'll overinvest myself in so many things. And that's like relationships with people and being really intentional and involved with them is something that matters. And sometimes because I'm a chronically busy or stressed person, that becomes like, I'm like almost annoyed with my relationships or people. I'm like outing myself here. If I am really busy, if I am stressed and like my mom calls me and I'm doing something, I'm like, I'm going to answer, but I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, why would she call me right now? Like, I'm like mad at her for calling me because it's like, I really don't have the time to talk right now, but I need to answer. Could I wait and call her back in 10 minutes? I could. I do this to myself, but like, no. Those people are priority in our life. Like, and so anyway, that was just an aside on what you said.
Okay, going off that, can I?
Okay, we're just like,
sorry, that, when you said that, it reminded me of something that I remember reading, and I think it's Jefferson Bethke. His book, To Hell with the Hustle,
right?
Oh my goodness. If you are on the go all the time, read To Hell with the Hustle. We'll link it. But the one thing is like leaving room for margin. And I think like with your mom calling you, like, I want to be able, if someone says like, hey, can you come help me with this? Or hey, like I want to make sure that my schedule has margin in it where I'm available. I'm looking at our July schedule. We have no margin. Literally, I'm like, can you guys hang out this one night of the month because we're busy every other night? I don't want to live like that. Like I want to be like having freeness in my schedule where like, wow, this person like their car broke down and they need help. Like where we're not like, oh, we're too busy to help. Like, no, like we can help. And I think like, a lot of times like we have our finances and we spend up to the limit, or we have all this time and we go up to the limit, and it's like that margin is where we can relax. That margin is where we can like actually bless people. That margin is where like we have freedom. And I think like I'm a queen of not giving myself margin, and that's something that I know I definitely want to work on, but I know there is so much freedom and stress relief when you give yourself that space.
Really amazing. And that book is seriously so good. If you resonate with this, if
I need to read it again.
Busy girl. Yeah, it is a good one. I have just a couple more. I'm gonna give one more of mine. Spending time with animals. Oh my gosh. An animal just does it for me. Like, you're just gonna bring all those levels down. I lose track of time. Like, you're fuzzy, you're warm, you're making these adorable faces. Oh my gosh, when my dog crosses his little paws or like touches his little head with his paw, my heart melts, my stress melts away. Now, my dog is also a massive source of stress in my life because he has behavioral issues, but you know what? Those cute moments make up for it. So you go to a farm, go see a cow.
Go pet a cow.
I'm not gonna say get a dog because that might add stress. Ask a friend who has a really cute dog, can I like take your dog for a walk? Can I like pet your dog? Spend some time with an animal.
So when I went to pet, it was once a week they would have them, but then during finals week, they would have like therapy dogs in the library. So you would just be studying and there would be these dogs that you could just like go cuddle and pet because it makes sense.
And
like,
everybody loves them.
Everyone is chronically stressed about these exams, but then they bring puppies in and you're like, I'm okay.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's a puppy.
I have one more.
Okay.
And it's easier said than done, but it's just something that I'm trying to like really hone into. And it's like, remember to control what you can control. And if you can't control it, like, it's it's not worth stressing about. And I know that's, again, that sounds so much easier said than done, but there's so many situations where it's like, you know, you get a flat tire or you get locked out of your car or things, and it's like, there's only so much you can do in those situations. Like, is it worth like having a panic about? And I think like our automatic response is to be stressed, but like if you actually just take a second to like reset, okay, what can I do in this situation that is in my control? And then what can I control? And if you can't control it, like letting it go. And I know, again, that's really hard to do, but just trying to shift yourself to that mindset is going to help bring you a lot of freedom.
To comment on that, like this might be a really messed up line of thinking. But like when I was young, okay, I'm a little control freak, right? I love time management. Oh, that's my jam.
Being on time.
Yeah. And I've like, since I've been young, this is just me. Say you're like traveling in a car and you get caught in traffic because there's a wreck up ahead of you.
Yeah.
And you are like stressed because you're going to be late for something. You're frustrated by it. My mom and dad always used to say, like, what a blessing it wasn't us in the wreck. And like, imagine we weren't stopped at this stoplight or behind this slow person. That could have been us in the wreck. Like, so like, you know, like you see these things as inconveniences. Sometimes it's like God working out protection over you, or there's reasons you don't even know, like that you got a flat tire or this happened. So just like being like, life is not going to fit inside your plans and your box. Like it's unpredictable. You have to be adaptable with that. And that's easier said than done, but like you have to. And you have to appreciate it for both spontaneity.
I know, I'm thinking of myself in the security line at the airport and Logan's like, it's fine.
What can you do about it?
Nothing you can do. And I'm like, but it's moving slow.
Us versus our Logans, like
they're just like
traveling or doing anything.
Like, it's fine. I'm like, but it's not fine. But we can't control it. So why am I getting worked up about it? Yeah. I love that you said that about being a blessing, because we so often just like, we jump to the conclusion, and it's like, the one, it was like a few weeks ago, Logan had like a nail in his tire, which was not a great way to start our week. But like, then I had to take him to his parents, and what if he would have drove to work and then we don't know, we don't see the big picture.
Or the tire blew out. Yeah. Like,
so many things.
What a blessing you found the nail in the tire.
Exactly.
And had that inconvenience. Okay, my last one. This is something I love, okay? So I'm a scheduled girl. If you look in the notes app of my phone, it is literally how I function for life. I am maybe too much extra. I have a note where I type in like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In those, I have it timed daily. 6 a.m., like alarm, temp, tongue, teeth brush, face wash. Like I have the things I need to do. 6:15, leave for the gym. 6:30, gym. This is the workout I'm doing. Through my whole day, every week. Like one of my tasks each week is I need to write out my plans for the next week. I think it's incredibly helpful because I'm a list person. It's very satisfying to cross things off. And instead of crossing them off there, I delete them, or I can move things easy. I love using the notes feature for them. When I put like timestamps with them and I get like that, I lock myself into it when it really doesn't matter. Like say like I'll have a free Saturday, I'll type in there like 8 a.m. alarm, 8:15 leave for the gym. And it's like, why? What if your body wants to sleep till 8:30? What do you have to do? Nothing. But why are you getting up at 8 to go to the gym? Just because you put it in your notes app? So if you are a planner, if you're someone like that, what I have done is I do believe, I believe discipline equals freedom. So I believe having routines or rhythm in place, having regular practices helps allow you that margin or freedom time. But I think you have to go about it in the right way, right? So when I like timestamp things, it is such a stressor for me with like scheduling and planning. So what I like to do is focus more on the rhythms of my day than like the to-do list or the time. So what I do is I try to chunk my day in like morning, like early morning, mid-morning, lunchtime, afternoon, like dinner time, evening, and then like bedtime. In those, I've sat down and written like a list of like, what are like the things that I want to be intentional about getting done in that time? What are the things I need to versus like would like to? So like the morning, that looks like I'd like to get a workout in, some sunlight time. I'd like to have a cup of tea, like get my shower, all these things. but they're not time-stamped. They're not in a certain order. It's more like, this is in general kind of the rhythm of my morning.
I feel like that ties into the more feminine energy versus like the masculine energy, like we talked about before.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I didn't even think about that take.
You taught me that, so.
Yes. Okay. And so I think doing that and being intentional, like instead of being like, this is my bedtime routine, it starts at this time and I have to do X, Y, Z, that's not going to calm you down. That's going to feel like you're still doing work in the evening. Instead, grouping it like, okay, in the evening, I want to make dinner, do a little tidier reset of the house, pack lunches, and maybe like I'm going to go do something in my garden. Like just writing that those are kind of like in that block of time. And like, this doesn't have to get done if it doesn't. If we don't pack lunches, go get lunch. Or if I don't get to the garden, it's not the end of the world. So like, just kind of seeing what is in that time chunk that's needed. And then like being able to have flexibility within that is so helpful to me. The other thing that's helpful there, because I could talk about this for days, okay? I've actually tried to make my own planners because nothing has like what I want in it. Is I have made master lists. And this is an investment of time, but it is so helpful to me. I made a master meal list for us where I've gone through, and it's seasonal. So I have my spring, my summer, my fall, and my winter. In that, I have like categories of like pasta or Italian, like meat and potatoes, grilled things, sandwiches, soups, salads, like any type of category you could think like cookbook. And then I put things that like seasonally make sense to me there. So like there's a lot more soups in the winter and fall. There's a lot more like sandwiches and grilled stuff in the spring and summer. Things like a pot roast is more like winter, fall to me versus like fish or like a fish taco is going to be like summer, right? So I kind of just put things we like in categories under each of those seasons. What I'll do, this is nuts. This is nuts. I should share this. Is I will go through, this episode's getting so long too. You're going to have to stop me. I go through and I plan my meals for 3 months at a time. And I know that sounds stressful, but hear me out. It takes 2 hours to plan for 3 months. I sit down on a Word doc. I type up like June, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll put like in parentheses, it's a Monday, it's a Tuesday, whatever. I'll go through, pull up my master list on another tab, see what all the meal options are. I like bold them when I use them so I know what's used. That way we're rotating through different things. So I'm not like, I'm getting sick of making the same things, eating the same things. And then I'm like popping them in, knowing kind of what big events we have going on and stuff, because I am planned and like I know that stuff ahead of time, or what nights like are busy for us or we do what. And then like what leftovers I'll have. So like say I'm making like some type of chicken on a Monday. Well, on Thursday, maybe we'll like reuse it for like chicken parm. You know what I mean? So when I do it for 3 months, then we're rotating through those things. We're eating seasonal things that we're not getting sick of them. Like we haven't had pot roast in forever. And I'm like, oh, I'm starting to crave it. But like, I'll wait till fall and then it'll be really good and we won't get as sick of it. Same thing with like a chili or something. It is so helpful to me because guess what, week to week, all I do is I pull up that list and I'm like, oh, here's what I planned 3 months ago that we were going to have. And then these are the groceries I need. Place a little pickup order. And that part's just like mindless at this point. It takes 2 hours one time every 3 months. And it has been so helpful to me to do that, to just like set rhythms. And I know that sounds intense, but like for someone like me, it's just been so helpful.
No, it makes sense. Like my friend Caitlin was telling me she plans out all her meals for the month. And I'm like, at first that was like overwhelming to me, but honestly, like, I swear, I thought I was a planner, and then apparently I'm not as much of a planner. It's Monday, and I'm like, what's a 5-ingredient meal that includes ground beef that I probably have?
But like, then you're like, I have to go to the store because I don't have this.
You're right.
Or honey, you need to pick this up. Or like,
no, you're totally right.
Taking 5 to 10 minutes on Google every night. And like, it's just a small, it can just be out of the equation of your mind, and like, it's helpful to just like reduce.
And I think the biggest thing with the rhythms, like I love that, and I'm learning too. I'm going to implement that because it's funny. I think about when I look at my college little Lily Pulitzer planner, it was like 6 a.m. gym, 7 a.m. shower, 7:15 breakfast, 7:30 look over my notes for
it makes you feel stressed if you're like a minute behind.
Literally like every day was mapped out like that. And I love the thing of rhythms where it's like you have a list of things you want to do, but if you don't get them done, it's okay. And it's not like you're locked into like a certain minute or hour. So I think people take anything away from that episode. I feel like this is like, that is huge because I feel like we're just so, we want to be so structured where it's like, we can flow and have rhythms of our day, and that just creates freedom and less stress.
You know what I want to do?
Tell me.
Okay. I'm not going to overstress myself by doing this. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't, guys. But I'm putting this out there. We have a website now. We literally are the worst at advertising this podcast. We have a website. We have merch. We have all these things. We didn't even talk about it. On our website, there are going to be free resources. There are free resources. I'm thinking if I can, I am going to put up there like some master list templates.
Please do, please.
And some like rhythm templates. And then I'll even give you examples of like what mine look like in case any of you want those little freebies so you don't have to like conceptualize that yourself. And so yeah, the website's kindofcrunchypodcast.com, and I will hopefully put that up there under the resources, and then you'll be able to grab those.
We are so bad at this because we always batch record these, and then like this is gonna air like a month from now.
After we announce this.
So yeah, check out our website and our merch. We have all this stuff now, so.
Yeah, I think our merch pre-order's shut by now.
Yeah, I think I actually had that in my notes. Yeah, I know.
Whoops! If you didn't get the merch, let us know and maybe we'll do it another time.
Yeah, we probably will, so. But that's all I had. Do you have anything else?
This was a really long episode, so no, I feel like I don't have anything else because I shouldn't.
I'm curious what people listen to us on like a faster speed. You know you can do that.
Can you understand me on a faster speed? Because I also speak really fast and like...
Okay, I've played it on a faster speed, and what's really funny is the intro and outro, because you're like already talking fast in those, and it's like
and that's not sped up. Our intro and outro are not sped up. That's a one take of me reading a script as fast as I can.
Yeah, Logan was my
reader.
My Logan was like, oh, she must have like sped up the outro because it's like really quick, and it's like, nope, she just actually said that really fast and very clean. Yeah.
I actually said it clean is the impressive part because I normally. Okay, we'll leave you with this. I worked in an office with speech therapists when I was working in the schools, and we came to find we're pretty sure I have tongue tie. So you know what? I do pretty well considering that we're pretty sure I actually medically have a tongue tie. But I have some weird pronunciation stuff I do. Also, like, you know when you try to touch your tongue to your nose, my tongue cannot even like go over my lip.
Is your tongue really short?
It's like tied. It needs snipped.
Logan's is really short too. Like he can barely stick his tongue out.
We're gonna have to inspect later.
We need to
and my mom was like heartbroken when I told her that because she's like, I took you like twice to look for that, and they said no, but they must have missed it. But yeah, there's some pronunciation things I can't do. I can't curl my tongue. I can hardly stick it out, and so you know it's hard to get around in there. So I do pretty well considering. But if you're ever like, what is Rachel saying?
That's fine.
Oh, I also pronounced Jensen's last name wrong. Just like I do my other best friend guest.
She's like, how do you say your last name?
My husband was like, I'm pretty sure you say her last name wrong. And I was like, it's only the first that matters, right?
Yeah.
I said, like, people should just get used to it. I'm gonna get your name wrong in some way. And it's not, I don't love you. It's just, it's me. I'm the problem.
Rachel's two best friends, she didn't know how to say our last name.
So don't be offended.
It's okay.
Do not be
such an offendable society. We get so offended easy.
I'm sorry. I love you. I no ill intentions. I'm just not paying attention to detail.
We'll leave you with that.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank you guys for being here. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching right now.
Get on our website.
Leave us a review.
If you bought merch, show us.
Tag us,
yeah,
please.
When you get it.
Because it's really cute. We want to see you wearing it.
We're obsessed with it.
Yes. Well, we love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you have the best Tuesday or whatever day you're listening, and we will talk to you soon. We hope your day is stress-free.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Remember, although we talk all things health and wellness here, this is not medical advice, and you should always seek out your medical professional for further questions. Thanks again for listening. Please remember to share, comment, and subscribe to help support our podcast.